Hi, it's Cryss of the Three of Skeins podcast, and I'm trying something a little different today. I'm trying this whole vlogging thing, right? Um, and what I wanted to talk about was choosing my next project. So I'm wrapping up the Janky Vest. She's almost done, and so I'm starting to think about what I'm going to be working on next. And in the podcast, I said I'd be working on a pair of shorts. So this was the yarn that I'm planning on. This is Lang Kimberly, and it's a cotton, hemp, and 8% polyester yarn, and it's a worsted weight. And sometimes I like to take a break from working at really fine gauges, and so it'd be really nice to work with a slightly bigger yarn for a little while. Plus, I think this will just be a really nice, comfortable fabric to wear as a pair of shorts. So I'm actually quite excited about this, and I love this pink color with the little flecks of gray because I think pink and gray are just such a classic color combination. However, I recently acquired this sequin yarn. This is a discontinued yarn from Universal. It's called Rozetti Cotton Gold, and it's just cotton and glitter yarn and sequins. So look at that. And I couldn't resist the urge to just start playing around with it a little bit. And I tried swatching it. Now, initially the plan was to hold it with this yarn. It's also a discontinued yarn from Universal, and it is Nazli Gelin Garden 10, right? And this is just 100% cotton. Now, look at these two together. And I think you can see that the crochet thread is just so much bigger than the sequin yarn. And the result was, when I tried holding them together, it wasn't this color, but when I tried holding them together, the crochet thread kind of just blew the sequin yarn out the water. You could barely see it. You couldn't really see the thread itself. There was a little bit, you know, because they twist around each other a little bit. So you can see little hints of the dark purple. You could barely see the sequins, and I wasn't getting the kind of fabric that I wanted at all. And I realized that holding it with the crochet thread just isn't gonna work. But I had a yarn in my stash. This is Ito yarn, and this is called Tetsu. And Tetsu is 69% silk and 31% stainless steel. I don't know if I can get it to show up, but yeah, you see those little flecks of silver in there? Turns out, now when I bought this, I consider myself a bit of a yarn explorer. So when I saw this, it was different and I just wanted to try it. But when I bought it, I had no idea what I was going to do with this. So I've had this hanging around for a few years. But it turns out to be perfect. I mean, absolutely perfect for working with this sequin yarn. So I have a little bit of a swatch here. Look at that. Now, I worked this with a 3.25 millimeter hook, and you can see that you can still see a lot of holes, right? This is just an all single crochet fabric. And that is because the stainless steel yarn kind of like holds its shape. So you can see, I just folded that, and there's a little bit of a crease there. And yeah, see, I don't have to do anything. But it also, you can flatten that out very easily as well. Because that stainless steel holds its shape, it's pretty much holding those holes open a little bit. And so I don't know if I'm ultimately going to have to go down to a 3 millimeter hook, but I would prefer not to, because working at 3.25 millimeters means I have a loop that's plenty big enough for these sequins to pass through. So it's been really easy stitching this up on 3.25 millimeter hook. So it remains to be seen if I'm going to have to like wear something under this dress. I probably won't know until you know, have more fabric, and I can see if it ultimately turns out to be see-through. But I actually don't think it'll be an issue. So I have a couple of things in my closet that I'm basically taking the shape of either this will be a cocktail dress or the shorts from. So the plan, because this is so sparkly and shiny, I was going to try to make a very simple, basic shape, kind of like a little trapezoidal shape cocktail dress. So what I'll do is I'll put in a couple of pictures of garments that I own that are similar to what I hope to make, and I will hope maybe the pictures will help me decide which of these I want to make next. But this stuff is so perfect for working with this sequin yarn that I have the sequin yarn in a different color. And I plan to buy more Tetsu in a color that matches this yarn, so that when I make my dress out of this, I'll have something to hold it with. Because I even tried crocheting the sequin yarn by itself, and with the thread itself being so fine, I feel like it was actually the sequins themselves that add weight and kind of pull the thread out of shape. And I got like this really distorted, rumpled looking kind of fabric. So this wasn't something that I was able to work by itself. I definitely needed to use something, but I also wanted something, I needed something that was finer than this. So let me see if I can show you. Let's try this. That's what I'm working with, folks. I needed something that was even finer than the sequin yarn, and I found it. But in this monochromatic look, you know, with the two yarns being almost exactly the same color, it's ideal. Oh. So, yeah, so you can see that the stainless steel yarn is even as fine as the sequin yarn is. The stainless steel yarn is way finer. And ultimately, if you want the sequins to show up, that's what you want. You want something that's even finer than the sequin yarn. Now, if I was using a sequin yarn that was just bigger, it was like a DK or worsted weight, I'd have more options. Then I could probably have used the crochet thread, but that wasn't gonna work. But yeah, this stuff turned out to be absolutely, let me tell y'all about Ito, because I made the overtime top out of some Ito yarn, and I have this silk yarn, 100% silk yarn from Ito. Right now, if you ask me today, if I were to only buy yarn from one company forever and ever again, what company would that be? I would be inclined to say Ito, because they have a lot of really interesting yarns that aren't just, you know, wool and nylon. And a lot of the yarns are really fine weight. And even I was looking at their kind of their novelty yarns last night, and some of those were really intriguing. Like, they seemed that even though they were novelty yarns, you could make something like wearable out of them. So I'm definitely going to have to explore this brand a lot more. But yeah, so these are my two options for what I might be working on next. And I'm looking at these sequins and I'm thinking it might be the dress. But I will keep you all posted as I try to figure out what my next project is going to be, because whatever it is, I will probably be starting it this week. So I will get back to you with another installment and let you know what I've decided. Stay stitching.